The Daring Daylight Heist, John Dillinger's Assault on Sioux Falls. Imagine a sleepy morning in the heart of the Great Depression, where the quiet streets of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, suddenly erupt into chaos. Machine guns chatter, a cop crumples to the ground, and a gang of ruthless outlaws vanishes with nearly $50,000 in cash, equivalent to over $1 million today. Was this the work of public enemy number one, John Dillinger, fresh off a brazen jailbreak with a wooden gun? Or was it just another myth in the legend of America's most infamous bank robber? Buckle up, because we're diving deep into the thrilling tale of Dillinger's 1934 robbery of the Security National Bank, a heist that shocked the nation and cemented his status as a folk hero, or villain, depending on who you ask. The smirking face of John Dillinger captured in his infamous mugshot, a man, the rise of a notorious outlaw. John Herbert Dillinger wasn't born a criminal mastermind. He was forged in the fires of hardship and prison walls. Released from Indiana State Prison in May 1933 after serving nearly a decade for a botched grocery store holdup, Dillinger wasted no time assembling a crew of hardened thugs. By early 1934, his gang had already pulled off several banks, but nothing prepared the world for what came next. Just 3 days before the Sioux Falls hit, on March 3, 1934, Dillinger pulled off one of the most audacious escapes in history. Locked in the escape-proof Crown Point jail in Indiana, surrounded by National Guard troops, he carved a fake gun from wood. Some say a washboard or potato, legends vary. He blackened it with shoe polish and used it to bluff his way out. He held guards at gunpoint, stole the sheriff's car, and sped off singing, "Get Along, Little Dogies." This stunt alone catapulted him to national infamy, with newspapers dubbing him Public Enemy No. 1. But Dillinger wasn't done. He needed cash to fund his lavish lifestyle of fast cars, pretty women, and evasion from the feds. Enter the gang, a motley crew including the psychopathic babyface Nelson, real name Lester Gillis, a pint-sized killer with a hair-trigger temper, Homer Van Meter, a sharpshooter with a scar-riddled face, Eddie Green, the brains behind logistics, John Three Fingers, Hamilton, the wheelman, named for his mangled hand, and Tommy Carroll, a Chicago hoodlum tasked with crowd control. They stole a sleek 1934 Packard Super 8 in St. Paul, Minnesota, and headed south to Sioux Falls, a prosperous town amid the Dust Bowl despair. Why there? The Security National Bank was flush with deposits, and the gang smelled easy money. Little did the townsfolk know their ordinary Tuesday was about to become legend, who turned crime into spectacle, storming the bank, bullets, hostages, and bedlam. March 6, 1934, 9:45 a.m. The green Packard pulls up to the curb outside the Security National Bank at the corner of 9th Street and Main Avenue. Inside the bank, teller Mary Lucas glances out and mutters to a colleague, "That looks like a hold-up car." She was dead right. Hamilton stays behind the wheel, engine idling for a quick getaway. Carroll positions himself outside. Thompson, submachine gun hidden under his long coat, ready to patrol the street. The other four, Dillinger, Nelson, Van Meter, and Green, burst through the doors, hats pulled low, coats flapping to reveal their Chicago typewriters, slang for Tommy guns. "This is a holdup," one bellows. Panic erupts as they herd about 30 employees and customers against the walls, hands up. The alarm blares, triggered by a quick-thinking employee, which infuriates the gang. Van Meter and Green disarm a patrolman inside, knocking him down. Dillinger demands the vault from bank president China Clark, kicking him when he claims he doesn't have the combination. Meanwhile, babyface Nelson spots motorcycle cop Hale Keith sprinting toward the bank from across the street. Nelson leaps onto a counter, levels his Tommy gun, and unleashes a burst through the plate glass window. Glass shatters like thunder. Keith is hit multiple times, in the abdomen, leg, wrist, and arm, collapsing in agony on the sidewalk. Nelson laughs maniacally. I got one. Miraculously, Keith survives, but the shot draws a crowd of over 1,000 spectators, turning the heist into a public spectacle. Outside, Carroll fires volleys into the air and the bank's facade to keep gawkers at bay. A daring photographer snaps a shot of him mid-stride, machine gun in hand, a rare, chilling image of crime in action. Inside, the gang stuffs $49,500. Sources vary slightly from $46,000 into bags, snatching valuables from safe deposit boxes too. As sirens wail, they round up hostages for their exit strategy. Each sentence can be long if the input requires it, but must not exceed 30 words. If a sentence is longer, split it into 2 or more natural sentences without altering the content. If these pulse-pounding stories from the underbelly of American history have you on the edge of your seat, Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel for more investigative deep dives into the outlaws who defined an era. You won't want to miss the next one. The Wild Getaway, Human Shields, and High-Speed Chaos. With the loot secured, the gang backs out of the bank, forcing 30 hostages to form a human shield around them. No cop dares fire. They select 5 female bank employees, Mary Lucas, Mildred Bostwick, Alice Began, Emma Knabuck, and teller Leo Olson. Wait, Olson was male in some accounts, but the terror was real. To cling to the Packard's running boards as living barriers against bullets. The car roars off, passing right by the Sioux Falls Police Department in a taunting display. Patrolman Harley Chrisman takes a shot, piercing the radiator and sending steam billowing. The Packard weaves through traffic, nearly colliding with 2 horse-drawn milk wagons. A surreal clash of old and new worlds. Pursuing police cars close in, but the gang scatters roofing nails to flatten tires and fires back with Tommy guns. At 41st Street, they release Olson. The car limps on, smoke pouring out. A good Samaritan, Bill Conklin, runs up with a fire extinguisher, only to be waved off at gunpoint. Beat it! 2 miles out of town, they abandon the Packard, using hostages as cover to hijack farmer Alfred Mush's Dodge. Gas cans and cash transferred, they speed away, releasing the remaining women near Schindler, unharmed but traumatized. Planes and posses scour the countryside, but the gang slips through, heading to the Twin Cities. They evade capture, ready for their next score. Just a week later, they'd hit the First National Bank in Mason City, Iowa, in another bloody affair. Legacy of the Outlaw, from folk hero to fatal end. The Sioux Falls robbery gripped the nation, splashed across headlines from the Argus Leader to the Lead Daily Call. No money was recovered, and while no one died that day, the gang's spree claimed lives elsewhere. Dillinger's charm, tipping waitresses lavishly, romancing women like Billy Frechette, who had ties to South Dakota, made him a Robin Hood figure to some in depression-ravaged America, sticking it to the banks that foreclosed on farms. But the law caught up. 4 months later, on July 22, 1934, FBI agents gunned down Dillinger outside Chicago's Biograph Theater after a tip from the Lady in Red. Nelson met a violent end in a shootout that November. The others scattered, most dying in hails of bullets. Today, a historical marker stands at the site, a quiet reminder of the day chaos visited Sioux Falls, and yet questions linger. Was Dillinger really there, or was it a look-alike? Why South Dakota? These mysteries keep the legend alive. If this tale left you craving more, perhaps the inside scoop on Dillinger's wooden gun escape or babyface Nelson's bloody rampage, subscribe to my YouTube channel now. Hit that button and join the hunt for history's hidden truths. Who knows what we'll uncover next?